24, 2007, regular meeting of the Board of Land Commission. Talked about that. Very late notice. We had at least up here on the podium, we had a request by some citizens to show a CD and narrate that in succession, apparently with 3 people. Difficulty with that is setting a precedent and not a whole lot of time to think about whether or not that's the right thing to do. My first inclination, in accordance with the rules we adopted last time, was to allow a speaker 3 minutes to do whatever he wanted. I understand the CD is longer than 3 minutes. And I would look at it, and apparently there's no narration on it, but make a decision on whether or not we'd allow it in the next meeting. I'm not sure where to go with this.
Commissioners, I'm actually sorry to hear that the wires got crossed about this presentation. Different people are part of it. It's not all one group. I can also vouch for having seen it myself, that there's nothing inappropriate, but it is, of course, a presentation with a certain perspective. So, and I also want to say, I think perhaps some folks may be a bit confused about what multimedia is allowed, because I don't know about at the port meetings, but I know I went to a Tumwater City Council meeting, and the EDC had done exactly the same thing that we are. Not to say that that means you should agree, but I think you were actually at the meeting, Commissioner Telford, where they had gotten up and they had actually done 4 or 5 2- or 3-minute presentations. So it was interesting, because in my mind, because I'm part of this presentation, I just thought, oh, I thought there had been permission. I get, again, wires crossed. I think the technical part had been worked out. So I apologized also that this is all last minute. But that it was very much along the lines of something I've seen at least twice now in public comment periods. And it is 3-minute sections too, but they go together. So,
let's see what we think here.
Well, my stance is I guess I'm always for public input, but I think that in the case of somebody wanting to put a CD up there and then narrate what is being shown, in some respects could open a Pandora's box of what's on it. I would think that what we need to do, for the future at least, is to have some kind of a process in place that if someone wants to provide something that they want to show on the screen, I don't have a problem with that, but I think it needs to have prior review by port staff, at least by port staff, to make sure the content is appropriate and that it fits within the time limit of the meeting. So I could certainly endorse having you as the president of the commission to take a look at it and make sure that it would be appropriate and then make the decision based on that. My understanding is there's 3 people that want to give comment on it. All would have 3 minutes each, which would be a 9-minute DVD. And I don't know if the computer is set up to take that, whether that would do something else to the equipment as far as any other presentations that are going to be made tonight. So.
Now Jerry, is it in there?
No.
It's not in there.
You have it.
Pardon?
You have it.
No, I'm talking about, was it fed into the... He had to override it to get the other presentations in. Yeah. So it's not ready to be put in there, ready to see anyway. I didn't realize that. Commissioner Van Scherl?
Yeah, well, obviously I think it's too late for this evening, this last minute, and it doesn't work well for me when you try and do multimedia. And frankly struggle with the whole idea of multimedia. The purpose of public comment is for somebody to stand at the microphone and make some comments on items. It's a slippery slope when we all of a sudden open ourselves up to a broad range of multimedia presentations here, and I think we need to think long and hard about how we approach that. you know, it can really change the whole, you know, I think it's a very difficult to try and figure out how to do all that.
Well, I was going to throw out another thought. Well, I was running this through my mind while we were listening to other people here, how to deal with this, and that was to hear other comments and from the rest of the public, and then let this group have the rest of the first 20 minutes of our public comment. But since it's not on the, it's not in the computer anyway, it's kind of moot.
But I also think, you know, why, you know, other folks are held to the 3 minutes. Why would we particularly change that?
Well, the argument is they're each doing 3 minutes. Okay.
Well, and supposedly, I mean, there's no reason they couldn't make their comments anyway, is my understanding. So let them. It's not in the machine anyway, as I understand it. So we will just go into public comment. So who wants to speak first? Daniel Roy.
Yes. Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I, like the other two presenters, are quite disappointed in not being able to present this evening the visual as well as the narrative section. I'm going to go ahead and try to read my section within the minutes that I'm allotted, although I do want to say again that disappointed because I think, you know, the idea that a picture says 1,000 words. I hope that we'll have an opportunity to show the visual at another point. I think, you know, we're now in the 21st century. We know even with the debates that they're using other means of media, and we're communicating in different ways than we used to, and this is a good thing. And so I hope that the Commission looks at this, and we'll have the opportunity to show the video at another time.
Commissioners, I put a lot of work into that presentation, and I won't be here for the next meeting. I'm going to read the first of the three narrations, which overlays the silent picture that you're going to be looking at home. And I guess people will just have to figure out what goes in between the first and the third. The title is "The Port Comes to Maytown." These containers are called TEUs, 20-foot equivalent units. They are used to transport cargo of all kinds, including the consumer products we purchase at the big box stores.